Right, I'm reading this out because it's the only way that I know how to publicise it on YouTube. I hope, well I don't know what I hope. The convulsions that Angelia was engaged in yesterday was so horrific that I couldn't watch them. You know, she's my friend now, okay? This is like, I'm saying, what can I do? Why does nobody care? What can I do? Why is it, where are the doctors? And I suddenly thought, Pfizer, you know, they made it, so I'm going to write to Pfizer. This gentleman is the CEO of Pfizer. Pfizer made the injection that was given to Angelia. I wrote to him earlier this morning, but I've had no response. I thought perhaps the email hadn't reached him, so I'm now sharing it more widely in the hopes that he sees it. Dear Mr. Burla, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, I do apologise, I'm not sure how it's said. I read on Wikipedia, which is obviously not, you know, the fount of all truth, but I suspect that this is probably true, that during the Holocaust, your Jewish mother's life was spared because her non-Jewish brother-in-law was brave enough to bribe one of the Nazis in charge of the firing squad. When I reflect on the quality of that person, I'm astounded by his courage. He himself, not being a Jew, nothing to lose by quietly going about his business. You know, did he love his wife so much that he found the courage to save her sister? Or was he just so inherently good that he couldn't let the situation pass without trying to do something about it? Well, unlike your mother's brother-in-law, I have very little to lose by emailing you. Likely you don't even check your own inbox and some exhausted intern will put my missive in the bin. And I am talking to you, the intern, right now. Hey, please don't put it in the bin. Please make sure that Mr. Borla sees this, because I'm 100% certain that he wouldn't want you to discard it, okay? I've spent the past 4 months recording the journey of Angelia DeSalle, a pro-vaxxer who has, as a manager of a healthcare clinic in New Orleans with 2 elderly parents, was first in line to get her initial Pfizer jab. Now, as with all medicines, when it comes to vaccines, there are always going to be a small percentage of the population who don't fare so well. It's inevitable. Some people, for instance, are allergic to penicillin, but we don't pull penicillin from our armory, and if by chance someone has a bad reaction to it, we treat them until they are better. Angelia has had a bad reaction to the Pfizer jab. Now, I suppose that, you know, we could spend an eternity in a courtroom trying to prove that her symptoms derive from some other source, but I can't imagine that, you know, your parents who survived on the back of other people's kindness and bravery would counsel you, you know, to choose denial and to look the other way. Vaccine manufacturers have been given blanket immunity, but I think that Pfizer should lead the way by providing proportional restitution to those few people who have been caused harm. Since it's not a legal obligation that you're fulfilling, you're at liberty to choose your own team of assessors and to work out your own scale of restitution. You might perhaps want to form a panel of advisors of which Angelia could form a part. Given the amount of money the vaccine manufacturers stand to make, and the proportionally small number of people who are having adverse reactions, I think that Pfizer has a chance here to do something brave. Something that a money-hungry, soulless board of corporate professionals have never chosen to do before. They could make history by offering restitution just because it's the right thing to do. You may not be able to undo the damage that Angelia has sustained, but if you were to pay for her to spend a couple of weeks in a decent facility where a neurological expert could monitor her convulsions, perhaps some medicines could be found that reduce the symptoms, or indeed they may notice some behavioural traits that influence the onset or the severity. She could then be given enough money to set up a restaurant. Bet you didn't know that about her. That's what she really wants to do. And now she's never going to be able to run it on her own, as was her dream. But if she understands her condition a little bit better and she has a second chef and a head waiter who can see the convulsions coming and don't mind occasionally sitting on her, then her dream could easily be a reality. I don't know you at all, and I do know that if I told anyone that I was emailing you or talking to you, they would tell me that it was pointless because you will inevitably be heartless. I suppose when your mother's brother-in-law was handing over the bribe, he was desperate for the Nazi he chose to be heartless. But I don't think you are a Nazi. I don't think you care about making money more than you care about anything else. Please help me. Please help me to help Angelia. I should have approached you a long time ago, but it never even occurred to me that you might be a good man. That you might do the right thing. Which is a terrible indictment on my view of humanity, and for which I hope that you're going to prove me so very wrong that I have to canvass the internet with my humble apologies. With my very, very best wishes, please help